Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network channel. So, for today's Grandstand episode, we're basically just going to be discussing it's more of a shoot to shit stream than anything because I'm really just wanted to discuss a couple of things that's going on with me lately. So, for those that don't know, for about the last probably year to a year and a half now, I've been off and on. I mean, off more than on because I really need to get back to writing. But I've essentially, about a year and a half ago, created a concept book that would be based around alternate history if MLK and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. had never been assassinated, had both of them survived their assassinations and stuff like that. Like how much differently America would look and how much differently, things would have changed almost immediately. And so forth and so on. So I've been writing that for a while now. And, my big thing with writing is, and this is one thing that I've always had an issue with because of the autism and everything else like that, is when I do writing, I can basically think of like where I want to end this thing. And I can always think of like how I kind of want to start it out is what it is. It's all the middle ground that I'm always having trouble with. And it becomes an issue then. And then again, it kind of gets like life distractions and you know, gaming stuff and everything else like that'll um, sort of distract me away from when I should be writing. And really, I should just be writing, is what it is at this point. And I really think I'm going to start doing that pretty soon in the next few days here. Probably sometime today, maybe tomorrow. Just start writing X amount of words a day, and hopefully get some chapters together. Is what it is. On that aspect of things, I've also been in that time writing multiple potential TV series. And again, it's mostly concept stages and stuff like that right now. But one of them that I've been working on would be a Red Dawn series, and this is actually something that Never Enough Ammo discussed a while ago on his channel of something he wanted to see, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna take the ball and roll with that. Is what it is. And essentially, what it would be is it would be set in roughly the same time period as the original Red Dawn movie, which is really the only Red Dawn movie, the 1984 version, not that fucking shitty Chris Hemsworth piece of crap North Korean fucking ripoff remake that was supposed to be about China, but of course China was like, "Oh, if you do this, we're not gonna fucking have anything come out of your Hollywood studios anymore. That's gonna come to our countries, motherfuckers." And that basically what they did was they bent Hollywood over a fucking barrel and then fucked him in the ass on both fronts. So anyway, but basically the whole thing is this series, the gist of it would be set in Texas during around the same time period as the original Red Dawn movie with Patrick Swayze and all them stuff, and it would be what happens when you have 1980s military and some random civilians come together as a fighting force, and that's pretty much what it is. It's about the gist of it is going to be this is the plot line essentially would be a group of National Guardsmen, particularly one National Guardsman that leads a small group of National Guardsmen, and then it would be his sister and his cousin that are going to be involved in this as well as like some nurses at the base as another chick that would be part of this and stuff like that as well. And it would be like 6, 8 people, something like that in total. Um, or actually, no, maybe it's more like 8 to 10 now. I'm thinking about it because I was thinking about the numbers actually, and yeah, I think it's more like 8 to 10 actually. But so yeah, it's basically like 8 to 10 people, give or take, and it's essentially them. Some of them have previous experience because of being in military service and stuff like that. Some of them don't, is what it is. And it would basically be the thing of this is what happens when you have another group, is what it is out there, being able to protect themselves. And there's a couple different things I've been writing for that and stuff like that. I don't want to get into too much detail because if I actually do end up writing this whole series and I'm able to eventually, sort of sell my ideas and stuff like that. I don't really want to give them away for free, is what it is. Sort of the same thing with the MLK RFK book. That's why I don't get into details of what that's actually going to be called or anything like that. Just the gist of what it is basically. And I gotta say, after watching that show For All Mankind, the book, which is actually going to be a book series based on the RFK MLK thing, it'll basically be 4 books over the span of its life, and the gist of it'll be you will have it start out back, like, it sort of goes, I'm gonna say it like this: there's time travel involved in this book, and that's why I'll leave it at that. And then of course, it's future, and then goes to the past, and then goes to, this is how these dudes were not assassinated, and then who it was that actually eventually saved them is what it is revealed later on. And in the meantime, you have, obviously, because of that, because both dudes survived assassination is what it is, they end up forming a ticket. This is all the first book, by the way. End up forming a ticket for the 68 party, win the presidency and vice presidency respectively in that. And then basically the rest of the first book is about Robert F. Kennedy as president and Martin Luther King Jr. as vice president, and basically goes from the beginning of their first term as president and vice president respectively all the way through to their second term, and that's basically where book 1 ends. Book 2 picks up pretty much directly after that, and it's essentially them running for re-election and then getting a second term and stuff like that. Book 3 is basically about MLK's first term as the first black president, is what it will be then. Unlike that piece of shit Obama, who was a mixed race motherfucker and never actually a black president. People always forget about that one, by the way, is that Obama's mom was white, dude. So he's actually the first mixed race, not the first black. But anyway, so it would be an actual true black dude as the first president in this alternate history of being Martin Luther King Jr., a real better man than that piece of shit Obama ever was, by the way. And then basically the fourth book would be about MLK's second term as president. And then basically this is where it goes to a lot of alternate history as well, because it goes through all the time period after that of exactly like who replaced who. And then you'd have like various characters that don't exist in our timeline that exist in this timeline that would actually take on different roles, whether it be president and VP roles, whether it be random senator roles, whether it be, congressmen that wouldn't exist otherwise, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, it'll be an interesting book series. Like I said, I already have like the end of it figured out. I have the beginning of it figured out. It's just everything in the middle that I'm, got to write towards is what it is, dude. Because I have my end goal right now, and I'm almost thinking maybe what I should do is work backwards at this point and go from like all the cool shit that's gonna happen in book 4, and then it goes like book 3, book 2, and then to book 1 is what it would be then. Like, how do we get all the way there? The problem is I think that would take more like years to do stuff, whereas I'd much rather work on book 1 and get that released. Meanwhile, I'm having like parts of book 2 and 3 and stuff like that working on at the same time as what it would be then. So, because my thought process is basically the way I want to do this is, as long as our society still exists in a few years, would be have a launch party in the next couple of years here, and then it would be like once a year basically have these books released, then is what it would be. So if not like once every 6 to 8 months, honestly, after the first one gets released, because my thinking is I'm one of these people that like, I want people to read this, and I think they would know that when they read it and it comes from me and stuff like that, they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense, that dude, he's all into that kind of shit. And that's the thing, like, because I feel like at some point with most of that stuff, with alternate history and stuff like that, you almost have to have time travel involved in it, because if you don't, like, it's not possible, is what it is, Like, the entire point is, it's like, how would something intervene and stuff like that, unless you had, like, outside forces kind of things, what it would be then. And I think that's exactly what it would be with that situation, with, because the thing really of it is the entire point of the book series of itself is, there's a lot of information that's been declassified in the past, 40, 50 years now, since JFK's assassination and stuff like that. And the one thing people, and this is the thing, like I actually thought about writing something based on JFK initially. And then I was like, you know what? Nobody ever really talks about RFK too much. They always just assume it was that Sirhan guy, even though there was like clearly evidence, like audio evidence of there being a second shooter in that situation and stuff like that. And it would essentially be something like that, dude. It would be, situations of, who else was involved? Why did the government do what they did? Because truthfully, when you look at it, dude, a lot of this shit was government. It was definitely government psyops and stuff like that. And that would be a lot of what it delves into in both books 1 and 2. because eventually, in the first couple books here, we're gonna delve into some stuff, and you're gonna see people in that alternate history universe arrested for JFK's assassination, and I'm gonna leave it at that. And these are people that would potentially have been in positions of power otherwise after that fact that will never ascend to those things, at least in that book anyway. Now, granted, in real life, they did ascend to those things because, they never were caught because, again, it was a giant fucking, government thing is what it would be. And yeah, my biggest issue with all of it is, dude, it's sad to think that you have people who could have definitely changed this country for the better. And that's the problem with our government. They realize that. And that's why they have to take these up. That's why they have to take people out, is what it is, dude. That's why they have to take them out. Because if they don't do that, if they can actually ascend to their full potential, that's when you have a true free country. That's when you have a true constitutional republic. And in doing so, that's when you actually have people wake up and realize, like, yeah, government is shit sometimes. And, this is the scumbaggery that's been going on in our government for decades, is what it is, dude. So, yeah. And there'll be a couple Easter eggs here and there in the book and stuff like that. Or I should say the first couple books is what it'll be. And then, eventually, I think some people will see stuff coming, but other people will be like, well, that's a weird twist to add into that one. So, but yeah, like I said, there's definitely what I have right now is a lot of concept stuff already written down. And then I have like some things that are just like not totally concept material, but it's just like actual like chapters already written and stuff like that is what it would be. It's just, putting them together as like more chapters and more chapters, and then eventually having a full book to release at some point then, and then going from there. And meanwhile, I've off and on, I've also, been looking back at writing comics again and stuff like that from my alternate universe comics and stuff. But like the problem with that would be, again, it's a situation of like, yeah, it's just, to me, it's not really worth it anymore. I have a lot of material that I wrote back in the day, and some of it still holds up to this day. Some of it would definitely need to be changed a lot, actually, just because of, time period wise and stuff like that. So, plus the fact that we're coming up on 2025 very soon, and the universe I created in 2005 was actually the 2025 universe, is what it was. So, and then, then we got the 2050 universe and the 2085 universe and stuff like that. So, which were obviously alternate versions of the original one, is what it would be then. So, but anywho, yeah, needless to say, like I said, going back to, writing and stuff like that, like again, there's for the potential Red Dawn series that I'm, looking into writing stuff here. A lot of it's just concept at this point. I've written a little bit about some stuff, but more or less I'm just trying to like do like character creation and stuff like that right now with that. Versus the book series that I've already gotten like character creation done, and basically it's now, stop being a lazy motherfucker and actually just start writing kind of thing is what it was. But again, it's not really like laziness per se. It's just, again, it's one of those things where you get distracted by life, where you get distracted by gaming or whatever it is, dude, so forth and so on, jobs, all this stuff like that. And again, it's one of those situations where it's like, then eventually I do grandstands about, various shit going on in Ohio and every other state for that matter in this country, or fucking pieces of shit in our government that shouldn't be, is what it is, dude, because they're, a bunch of scumbag, fucking, what, so and so's and everything else like that, dude. And, yeah, it is a whole thing. But anyway, I was watching, or I saw Tim Pool's live stream pop up last night, and he was talking about Biden and stuff like that, making jokes about how he was creeping on some fucking 12-year-old girl, and he was like a 30-year-old man. And it's like, the fact that people were laughing about that is fucking disgusting, dude. And really just shows how fucking much of enablers we have in this country when it comes to pedophiles, dude. And that's the biggest issue right now entirely. I think it's actually more of an issue than the child molesters themselves right now, would be the fucking pedophile enablers, is what it is right now, dude. Because again, if it wasn't for people enabling these sick fucks to go do shit, you wouldn't have these sick fucks being able to go do shit, is what it is, dude. So, yeah, it's a huge issue on both fronts, and it definitely needs to be dealt with. through arrest and everything else like that, dude. So, but yeah, needless to say, going back to the book series though, like I said, there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of pissed off people that would read this book, this book series, just because of certain things that are written in the first book specifically, and really, there's going to be a lot of swipes taken at a lot of people in this shit, dude. Both just general broad brushing, and then of course, individuals that actually do exist in our real universe is what it is. Then mostly politicians is what it would be there, that are a bunch of fucking ass wipes that shouldn't even be in power to this day, honestly. So, it's a whole thing there. But yeah. So, it really is going to be one of those things where it's like life imitating art, imitating life kind of things. But in a lot of ways it will be different because of the fact that maybe you wouldn't have seen 50 years of a thing being in this country, and maybe that would have been dealt with on the spot pretty much, and you would have had a bunch of people be alive because of that. And again, going to alternate history and stuff like that, that'll be one of the things that's talked about in book 1 when it comes to how much America fucked up in the 1970s. So anyway, that's pretty much it, dude. I was gonna read a couple articles in this episode, but I guess I don't think I'm gonna do that now because like I said, I just really wanted to jump on here for a few minutes and bullshit about the book and everything like that, and then potential series that I'll be writing as well, and not really much of anything else though. Just sort of shoot the shit is what it is. There's been a lot of stuff that's come out in the last few days. Obviously, you got fucking ass clown Rhino Kevin McCarthy talking about how, oh, if we take the majority, I'm totally going to be Speaker of the House and do all kinds of fucking shit now. And it's like, well, first of all, the last thing America needs as another fucking Speaker of the House is another fucking asscock fucking cunt from California, dude. If anything, that should be an automatic disqualifier right there to even run for that position. It's like, oh, you're from California? Yeah, get fucked, dude. You're basically a Democrat light at that point, asshole. Which is really what it is. If you look Republican Party from California, almost all these motherfuckers are just Democrat light, is what it is, dude. They are nothing more than a bunch of rhino sacks of shit. And McCarthy is one of the biggest ones among them, actually. The only good speakers of the House right now, potentially, candidate-wise, would be either Jim Jordan or Rand Paul, because both of them actually give a fuck about the Constitution, what they took to uphold. And both of them have continued to be a bunch of oath-keeping type of people, dude, when it comes to stuff. So I know that there was talk of Jim Jordan being like the head of some committee or something after midterms, potentially, if they would retake the majority and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. If I was him, I'd be throwing my hat in the ring for speakership at this point. I'd be like, no, fuck you, McCarthy. I'm taking it, bitch. So, but that's the problem again with people that are in office for X amount of time, is they'll just, fucking whatever. And it's like, nope, tote the party line and we'll give you this Senate, we'll give you this high leadership role, but it won't be the head leadership role, is what it is. It's like, or you can go fuck yourself, dude, and I'll fucking call you all out on that one. And that's the problem, dude. You don't have people willing to go scorched earth in this country anymore when it comes to shit like that, dude. It's like, hey, you want to fuck with me? You want to fuck with this? I'll fucking take everybody down, kind of thing is what it is, dude. And I feel like that's especially true when it comes to state general assemblies not doing their job to out criminals within them. And it's like, hey, do full dead man switch, man. Be like, hey, you know what? Fuck all y'all. I'll take us all out, kind of thing is what it is. Like, even if that person's clean as shit, honestly, dude, be like, you know what? I assume one of y'all has something on me here, so fuck it. Or you're gonna lie about me or whatever. So it's like, fucking pull the pin. It's like the old the scene from what's that movie? In the Army Now, and the chick's like, pull the pin, throw the grenade. Pull the pin, throw the grenade, and the dude fucking pulls the pin, throws the fucking pin, and then drops the fucking grenade. Or no, that's what it was. It was drop the pin. That's what it was. Drop the pin, throw the grenade. That's what she kept saying. Yeah, she's like, drop the pin, throw the grenade, drop the pin, throw the grenade. And he fucking drops the grenade and throws the pin. Like, I feel like that's what it would be, honestly, at this point. So, great movie, by the way. An underrated Pauly Shore movie by a lot. For those people that have never seen it, In the Army Now. There's a lot of good. Actually, for the most part, it seems like the last probably 2 weeks or so, I've been on a really big '90s kick when it comes to stuff. Basically, more or less nostalgia going on now. Of simpler times when I was a kid, and yeah, Sultan's band was going on back in those days and shit. But again, I was a fucking child. I didn't really know anything about 2A and stuff back then, so it didn't really bother me or any what it is, dude. Now as an adult, it bothers the shit out of me, obviously, because like I mentioned before, I should have been able to buy many of those guns in 2003 when I turned 18, and because the stupid fucking ban was still in place for another year, I couldn't buy them until I was 19, and by then I didn't have any money anyway. So, but yeah, either way, it's a bunch of shit, man. And the thing is, when you look back at history, though, during that time period, there was a lot of great movies that came out back then, my childhood, man, whether it be, you know, stuff like Airheads or fucking Camp Nowhere, Heavyweights, all that stuff like that. By the way, for those that don't know, the one kid that had the salami's on his back in that Heavyweights movie apparently passed away in the last couple of years now. Very sad, very tragic, especially considering he was around my age, actually. And I think for him it actually was like a weight issue kind of thing or something like that, where it was like breathing problems or something. So yeah, just very very sad, man. Mostly because of the fact that if you ever had those kids come back together, like you can never actually have an actual full reunion for like whatever would be like 25th anniversary um of the movie or something like that kind of thing or something like that. Also, for those that don't pay attention to stuff like that, the guy that played one of the leads in that movie as well, that also was the character that of Goldberg in the Mighty Ducks movies. That dude went hardcore drug use, man, in the past like 10 years or so. He was that Sean guy got so fucked up, man. Like I'm surprised he was alive when he was being taken out to jail, dude. And thankfully he seems to have gotten sober now and gotten his life back together and stuff. So good on him. I will say that. Like good on him, dude, for actually, finally hitting rock bottom and being able to deal with his life issues and stuff like that, and then other stuff like that. Honestly, like that dude, him and a lot of the other young males back in those days in the '90s, I would not be surprised, especially after the shit with Seth Green that's come out recently. I would not be surprised if a lot of those guys back then on those movie sets were fucking prey to somebody, dude. Some were literal fucking prey to some sick pedophile piece of shit or multiple sick pedophile pieces of shit back then. And I think that's why a lot of them go to drug use, honestly, whether it be the dudes, the chicks, or whatever the case be, is because they're trying to escape from reality of all the repressed memories of being molested by these sick fucks in Hollywood is what it was, dude. So, and it's sad that we as a society let that shit go on every day now, and don't fucking deal with this shit accordingly in Hollywood, there, dude, and be like, hey, it's time for, like, I don't care how much money these fuckers have or how much fame or fortune or whatever it is, dude. Like, no two-tier justice system. Your asses are going to jail now for raping kids, dude. It's as simple as that. And the same thing with the U.S. government, for that matter. If we can find a bunch of sickos in there, like fucking yank them out and arrest their asses, dude. It's simple as that, man. And I think the real problem comes down to being the fact that you have too many people that are complacent within the shit, dude, is what it is. Because whether it be a corrupt FBI agent or a bunch of corrupt FBI agents or a bunch of corrupt CIA or ATF or whatever it is, dude, just a bunch of corrupt fuckers that are just like, no, I'm just going to toe the line and not do anything and not, rock the boat or anything like that. And just, no, we'll just look for these domestic violent extremists elsewhere and stuff. And it'll just be the American people then instead of the actual motherfuckers in office that are, pushing this garbage ass legislation. For those that don't know, by the way, now that we're getting into this whole thing, there is apparently a bunch of gun control stuffed within the spending bill that's coming up in Congress right now. It's because they're trying to backdoor the shit, dude. That's always what it is. And this is the thing. Again, this is the kind of shit that I've talked about for the past 5 fucking years at least now, dude. That needs to be automatic disqualification from office in this country. Anybody pushing any kind of anti-constitutional legislation like that, whether it be anti-Second Amendment, anti-First Amendment, any of that shit, dude, and especially trying to hide in other bills like fucking must-pass spending shit, dude. No, your ass is fucking in handcuffs and you're being walked out to the goddamn jail cell immediately, motherfucker. Arraign their asses, do what needs to be done, charge them with fucking high treason and stuff like that against the American people, and go from there, dude. Make deprivation of rights under color of law a fucking felony nationwide, everything along those lines, dude. and make sure that these fuckers never see the light of day ever again, dude. Because that's what it should be. Minimum life imprisonment now. Because they have done it for so long and have gotten away with it for so long that they think they're untouchable, is what it is, dude. And that's the real problem with this country right now. Is you have a bunch of sick fucks in power right now, dude. And like I've mentioned on this channel many, many times, 20, 30, 40, 50 years in some cases. Half a fucking decade, man. Or sorry, half a fucking century. 5 decades. 13 years longer than I've been alive. And there's some that have been in there my exact lifetime, honestly, 37 fucking years, dude. And it's like, at what point do we just say, no, you're done here, bro? You've been in power too long. Gone. Term limits, age limits, health limits, automatic qualifications, dude. 20th Amendment to the Constitution. And it would really be that simple, honestly. And I think that's the problem, dude. Too many Americans don't want to actually step up and be like, no, it's time for us to have the power to do this kind of shit, dude. And be the ones that'll be like, hey, you know what? Run that grassroots campaign and you'll get funded. And I think that is the biggest issue is money in politics, dude. And I think that's one of the, like, honestly, as much as I hate Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, as much as I fucking hate that commie cunt with a passion, dude, she and I can agree on one thing, and it's money in politics. And now, granted, her actual stance may have changed on that since then, but when she first got into Congress, she had a stance, and it was basically there should be X amount of money where it gets capped out, basically, for any election. And I totally agree with that one, dude. And my thing is, it should be across the board. I don't care if it is a mayoralship. I don't care if it's a city council seat. I don't care if it's a fucking governorship, a state senate or a state rep seat, a federal senate or a federal, congressional seat, or the presidency. There should be a maximum amount of money that can be spent on any of these seats, dude. Especially when you have people spending millions of fucking dollars for U.S. Senate races when the seat itself is $174,000 a year salary, dude. That's absolutely ridiculous and complete insanity, dude. There is no need for that. And I would say it like this, honestly. Any of these things, it should be less than $500,000. It should be, if you can't get it done on 500,000, dude, for the higher positions and stuff like that, then get fucked. You're out of the race then. And that's what it would be, dude. And I think that's the biggest problem with our country in a nutshell, honestly, when it comes to these old fuckers that are in power right now, dude. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. They want to keep kicking the can down the road when it needs to be kicked directly into their fucking faces, is what it is, dude. It needs to be kicked back directly into their fucking faces, because the problem right now is they keep kicking it down the road and they're like, oh yeah, let's just kick it down the road another year or two. Oh, okay, now we're dead, kind of thing. They die natural causes and stuff like that, dude. And who does that burden go on now? It goes on the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. And at this point, it's not going to be them. It's not going to be their kids. It's not going to be their grandkids paying for it. It's going to be the rest of us. It's going to be us, our kids, our grandkids, our great-grandkids, our great-great-grandkids and stuff like that, dude. And really, honestly, I'm going to say it like it is, dude. When it comes to the national debt, who do we really owe money to in the national debt, dude? Like, that's a serious question. Because I really don't know. I don't think anybody else does either, for that matter, dude. Some people might say China. You know what I say? Fuck China. Fucking wipe out the national debt entirely. Go back to zero. Tell any country that we're indebted to go fuck off. And be like, nah, bitch. We don't owe you a fucking thing anymore. And you know what? If anything, we're going to call in all of our debt from your bitch asses for the last fucking 75 years and shit like that. Since we've helped your asses out after fucking World War II and shit, bro. And go down that road and see how fucking fast things change then, dude. And then after that, we become an isolationist country for a while. It's time for America to stop being the fucking world police, dude. And it's time for us to take care of our own shit right here in this fucking country. And it starts by closing the fucking borders and closing the fucking book after that, dude. And that's honestly the truth at the end of the day. Hell, I was reading a story yesterday. It was talking about 50-something migrants were found in a fucking back of a tractor trailer. And that's going on every day across our borders, dude. You got these fuckers like Bowser and Eric Adams and stuff like that bitching and moaning about like, oh, Washington, D.C. and New York City can't take the influx of these fucking people coming over and being bused to us now. And you think these fucking border towns can? You think the fucking state of Ohio can, you fucking assholes? No, we fucking can't, dude. And we shouldn't have to either, because these people have no legal fucking standing in our goddamn country is what it is. And neither do their fucking baby children for that matter, dude. None of them do. None of them do. Ever. Have any legal standing in this country until they come here legally, go through a 5 to 10 year fucking process or longer, and get actual U.S. citizenship. If they're going to come over illegally, no, kick them right the fuck back out, dude. Repatriate them to their own countries. By the way, for those interested, repatriate is just another fancy ass word for deport them to their nation of origin. So, seriously though, it's ridiculous, dude. Especially when you've had in the past week or two the shit come out about that dictator motherfucker asshole from Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, that fucking cunt, who back in June, July, started releasing prisoners from the fucking Venezuelan prison and sending them with caravans towards the United States. And people wonder why there's so many fighting age males coming over here that are single. It's because they're Venezuelan prisoners, bro, that are already in our fucking country. There was a 24-year-old fucking sheriff's deputy the other day, a good-looking chick, honestly, who was murdered by some illegal alien piece of shit, dude, a couple days before her 25th birthday. And this motherfucker had a laundry list of fucking criminal charges and a criminal history that was the length of my arm, bro. And yet he was still on our soil. It's absolutely ridiculous, dude. Or even worse, you know, going back a couple months now, the little girl, that little 10-year-old girl that was raped here in Ohio by another illegal alien, dude, who had no business being in this country to begin with. And only got here because of fucking pieces of shit like Obama. And open borders underneath the Obama administration, dude. And now it's fucking open borders under Biden. The only person that ever did anything was Trump, dude. And if it wasn't for the bullshit going on in our fucking federal government back then during his administration, with him having one hand tied behind his back and being smacked in the face with the other half the fucking time, that man could have got things done correctly and we would have had a closed border system. We would have actually had things done correctly. The thing I don't get, though, is with some of these border state governors, dude, whether it be Texas Governor Greg Abbott, whether it be the governors of Arizona, New Mexico, and stuff like that, dude, they know that this shit's going on. Declare this, like, they know that fucking drugs are being brought over our border, dude. They know that human trafficking is going on over our border. Declare this shit fucking acts of war, dude. Seriously. Declare it fucking epidemics. Declare it weapons of mass destruction for fucking fentanyl and shit like that, dude. And deal with this shit accordingly. If you have to, fucking federalize the border. Put National Guard troops on the fucking border. Secure it that way. If the federal government tries to have fucking, you know, Border Patrol come out there and be like, no, we have jurisdiction here. Tell them to fucking kick rocks, dude. Be like, nah, bitch. This is a declaration right here, motherfucker. We are not to leave this fucking area. And I guarantee you things would change immediately. Immediately. And I've said before and I will say again, I had a talk with my cousin's ex-girlfriend a couple of years ago now. At the time, she was his girlfriend. Her family, a lot of them, are from Nicaragua. We actually had a discussion about how, mind you, a lot of her family is considered middle class in that country, dude. They have pretty much every luxury we have here. You know, they got working electricity, they got fucking televisions, food, everything like that, dude. You know, depending on if they want to fall to socialism or not, they have a job, because that's what it was. Like, that was her whole thing, was like, yeah, my cousin is trying to come here because he can't get fucking work there because of socialism and stuff like that, and he doesn't want to fall to socialist regimes, is what it is. And if he doesn't, you know, cuck to socialism, he's not going to have a job, is what it is. And the thing was, you had a lot of the shit over there on their TVs every single day, and I guarantee this is Soros-paid NGOs that are doing this shit, dude. They are putting commercials into these third world countries like that and being like, oh yeah, if you come to America, you will get free handouts galore. We will put you on our food stamp system. We will put you on our Medicare and our Medicaid. You can get free health care, free food. You can get cash assistance, everything, dude. And we'll give you free housing on top of that. And that's the problem right there, dude, is those commercials being allowed to be propagated like that, dude, because it's all lies. It's all lies being told to these people, and then we wonder why they're coming up to our country now. And I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying a good majority, like I would say about 50-50 at this point, honestly, dude. Because the other half now, like I said earlier, are people literally being let out of fucking prisons in their own home nations and being basically shoved into a fucking caravan now. Actual violent criminals coming across our border, dude. That are sitting there trying to fuck us over, dude. And just want to sit here and do more crime is what it is in our country, dude. And then what do you have? You have fucking dickhead Biden and company doing catch and release crap now. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Like, at what point is enough enough? At what point is impeachment mandatory? You know? Even the fuck, like, seriously, as psychotic as the Democrat Party is, dude, even they should be seeing that shit. They should be like, no, bro, secure the fucking border. But again, there's a reason why they don't want to secure the border, because they know that's where their fucking votes are coming from, dude. Because that's what it is at the end of the day. It's massive voter fraud. It's exactly what it is, bro. It's exactly how people like Nancy Pelosi and fucking Chuck Schumer and Maxine Waters, Dianne Feinstein, the entire fucking every single Democrat coming from California to Congress and Senate, every single Democrat coming from New York to Congress and Senate. It's exactly how these fuckers are able to maintain their ability to be in office, dude. And it's as simple as that, really. And that's exactly why we must audit every election. All of them, dude. You can't have a country without secure elections, without actual fucking borders, and without true safety. And this country is not safe while we have open borders, dude, is what it is. And another thing, by the way, you can't trade away your constitutional rights, or anybody else's constitutional rights for that matter, for a little bit of fucking safety, dude. You know, what's that famous quote by, I believe it was founding father Ben Franklin? Or maybe it was Thomas Jefferson, I'm not sure which. It was one of those guys. That was like, you know, those who would trade away security for a little bit of temporary safety or something like that deserve neither, or something along those lines. Forget again, it's fucking 4 a.m. I'm kind of tired right now, you know. Yeah, I forget exactly what the actual direct quote is, but it's one of those things where, like, fuck it, you know, I'm gonna look it up. We got time here. Let's see, founding father quote. Safety. Yes, it was founding father Benjamin Franklin who said, those who would give up essential liberty, that's what it is, essential liberty, to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. And that's exactly what it is, dude. We should never be giving up our liberty. We should never be giving up our constitutional rights for a little bit of BS, fucking fake safety, or anything else like that, dude. And that's the thing. And we can't have true liberty, again, while you have open border systems and we basically have no country because you keep having people fucking, you know, cross in is what it is, dude. Like, truthfully, at this point, America should be maybe 200 million people. And instead, we're like 350 plus million now. Because, again, I guarantee if you look at more than half the population, dude, they probably shouldn't even be here. So, at least not legally anyway. So, anyway. Yeah, it's a bunch of shit, though, man. It really is, honestly. But yeah, you had a dickhead Kevin McCarthy claim day one of Republican majority we're going to repeal 87,000 IRS agents. And I was talking about him being speaker and shit like that. Actually, this is something I kind of want to talk about. Speaking of things, and you know, people who were given the ability to be in this country when they probably really shouldn't be. This goes back to Omar, Ilhan Omar specifically, and her fucking voting base. DOJ 47 in Minnesota's Somali community charged with stealing $250 million in COVID-19 funds from child nutrition program. And these are the people that vote for Ilhan Omar, by the way. 100%, dude. 100% all the time. It says 47 individuals, primarily in Minneapolis, Minnesota, aka Omar's district, a large Somali community that was only brought here under Obama, by the way. There's also a Somali community in the state of Ohio, near Columbus, which was also brought by Obama and forced on then Governor John Kasich, which should have immediately, in both those cases, both of those things should have been like, no, we're taking this shit to a vote by the fucking people of this state. Hey, do you guys want these big ass communities, people coming into your state? Fuck no, get the fuck out of here with that shit. That's honestly what the only two answers should have been on that fucking question. It should have been like, it should have been either a no or a hell no. It shouldn't have been no yes at all on that one, dude. Or if it's people that were going to be like, yes, okay, cool, that's fine. You can house these people then. And actually, that should have been the secondary question. It's like, okay, if you're going to vote yes on, like, that's what it should have been. It should be like two-thing question. It should have been like, should they be here? Yes, no. And then it's like, okay, if yes, you must house, like, if you're voting yes, you must house them. You cool with that? And then it would be like yes or no. And then immediately, like, if they would put like no or something like that, then it's like, okay, your ballot's now null and void entirely. So anyway, but yeah, it says according to federal prosecutors, the 47 individuals charged across 6 indictments and 3 criminal informations committed a conspiracy, wire fraud, bribery, and money laundering when they defrauded millions from the federal child nutrition program during the COVID pandemic. It says specifically the 47 individuals allegedly used COVID-19 changes to the federal child nutrition program to oversee the massive fraud scheme via the Minneapolis-based Feed Our Future and the for-profit restaurants, as well as the food distribution services sponsored by the nonprofit. Said in 2019, Feeding Our Future received and dispersed about $3.4 million in federal funds to feed underprivileged children in the Minneapolis area. By 2021, the nonprofit had received almost $200 million in federal funds. That's insane, dude. So it went from 3.4 million to almost 200 million in the time span of like a year and a half. Yeah, that don't seem fucking fishy at all, dude. It's a scheme including Feeding Our Future allegedly claiming to open more than 250 federal child nutrition program sites across the state of Minnesota. Most of the 47 individuals claim to operate those sites by filing fraudulent documents purporting to be feeding children, prosecutors allege. Said Feeding Our Future executives, prosecutors claim, knew all along that the fraud was taking place, but continued to submit fraudulent documents to secure federal child nutrition program funds for the sites claiming to be feeding kids. And that is the problem when you allow the fucking third world to be part of the fucking first world, especially when that part of the fucking third world and the shit that they follow, if you look into our founding documents, was banned by fucking name in this country by our founding fathers, dude. Because even our fucking founding fathers knew who their fucking enemies were. It's why Thomas Jefferson kept a copy of the Quran, by the way. It's the same exact Quran that piece of shit Ilhan Omar swore her oath to uphold the Constitution on, which in of itself violated everything right there, and why she should never be allowed to hold power. The same thing with Charlotte Lee did the same exact thing because of the fact that neither one of those bitches took a fucking oath on the Holy Bible, dude. Whereas every other sitting congressman did. So, anyway. As it says here, said in the process, Feeding Our Future was paid more than $18 million in administrative fees, and employees of the nonprofit allegedly accepted bribes and kickbacks when Minnesota regulators sought to provide oversight to the operation. A Feeding Our Future executive claimed the state was discriminating against the nonprofit bullshit. Again, they're always going to play the race card and crap like that's what it is, dude. Because they knew that they were doing fraud shit is what it was, dude. So most of the individuals charged in the fraud scheme, persecutors say, used the stolen money to buy luxury vehicles, residential and commercial real estate in Kenya and Turkey, and to fund their international travel. Oh, you can't tell me the fact that it was a $250 million bribery scandal, dude, that there wasn't at least $50 million of that going towards fucking terrorism funding overseas, dude. Whether it be ISIS or Al Qaeda or who the fuck it is at this point, dude. You can't tell me that shit was not directly going to fund terrorism, dude. Especially when Omar's fucking district there where this happened at is the biggest hotbed in the United States for Islamic terrorism, dude. And that's actually by our federal government too, by the way. That's actually FBI statistics and stuff like that, dude, that have talked about that in the last few years. So just so we're clear on that one, what we are discussing is information is education, brought to you by the Ohio Patriot Education Network. So anyway, so those charged in the multiple indictments are, and then it gave people's names. Like the first one actually sounds like she might be an American. Everybody else is all definitely like Somalian names. So I'm not even gonna bother reading names because it's exactly who you think it would be, dude. So actually, let me go ahead and just do a screen share here to show exactly how many fucking people were actually indicted in this whole thing, dude, because there's a lot. Like they said, it's like 47 or whatever. So yeah, you got the first chick right there, Amy Marie Bach, 41. And then it goes basically Somali and Somalian, Somali, 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 Somali. Hassan Omar. Or if that's in relation to Ilhan Omar. Or if that... I wonder if Omar is actually one of those names where it's like Smith or something over in those countries, honestly, dude. Or like Jones or some shit. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised by either. But anywho. Sorry, I'm trying to wait for my my connection. It's okay, there it goes. It was being kind of weird there. I wasn't sure it was gonna go down or out or whatever. But yeah, it's just like actually let's just go ahead and look at the oh yeah. Interesting. That dude, age 54 of Columbus, Ohio, is charged with conspiracy to commit money laundering, and money laundering was the owner and operator of Safari Restaurant, a site that received more than $16 million in fraudulent federal child nutrition program funds. I think I remember that guy because I think he was charged with other shit too in this state, if I'm not mistaken. That was like a year ago or something like that happened, dude. So, yeah. But yeah, let's go ahead and actually look at where everybody else is from, though. Go back to that now. Okay, so you had the first chick from Minnesota, and it was Minnesota, 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 Minnesota. Actually, I should say Minnesota by way of Somalia on most of these people, or Minnesota by way of Somalia for most of these people is what it is, dude. But yeah, current residency is Minnesota for all these people, what it is. So it's Minnesota, 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 St. Paul, Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and then Columbus, Ohio is that one guy. Let's see, Savage, Minnesota, Lewis Center, Ohio, Mahad Abbasine, 46 of Lewis Center, Ohio, is charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud, conspiracy to commit money laundering, and money laundering. Was the president and owner of Think Tech Act Foundation, a Minnesota nonprofit organization that also operated under the name Mind Foundry Learning Foundation. Think Tech Act and Mind Foundry created dozens of sites throughout Minnesota, including in Minneapolis, St. Paul, Bloomington, Burnsville, Faribault, Owatonna, Shakopee, Circle Pines, and Wilmer. Said Think Tech Act received more than $18 million in fraudulent funds. Jesus fucking Christ. Like, that's what I'm saying, dude. Again, Stop importing the first world to the third world, and you ain't gonna have shit like this happen, dude. It's not that hard. All right, continuing on. There you got Minnesota, 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 Minnesota. Let's see, Minnesota, Minnesota, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Columbian Heights, Minnesota, St. Paul, Vad Norris Heights, Minnesota, St. Anthony, Minnesota, Minneapolis, Plymouth. Okay, Minnesota, Minnesota, Minnesota. Yeah, let's look with the exception of those two guys that were here in Ohio. It was all Minnesota is what it was, dude. But again, makes sense because again, it's probably all. I'm guessing honestly, if you go to it, man, it's probably villages from over there. They all came from the same probably active village areas, is what it was, dude. They had the last couple of people charged with one count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud for both Hadiraf Zaraf Ahmed, 34, and Hannah Merkinen, 40, were both charged with one count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. So, yeah, just ridiculous, dude. Like I said, though, it's just insane, dude. It's fucking insane. And as I continued on the bottom here, I'm going to go ahead and stop screen sharing for a minute. Said KARE 11 news reporter Lou Rogi reports that only 7 of the 47 individuals were taken into Minnesota law enforcement custody, including 2 who were previously charged with passport fraud. Some of those have since been released from jail pending trial. Oh, they're never coming back, dude. So another individual is in custody after she booked a one-way flight to Ethiopia. 3 of the charged individuals have already left the United States. Again, dude, they should all be booted out of this fucking country, and they should all be fucking dealt with accordingly, dude, is what it is. Like, this is what I'm saying, dude. When you have Biden bringing these people after Afghanistan's fall and stuff like that a year ago, dude, when you have these motherfuckers that can't even be properly vetted for potential ties of terrorism and stuff like that, dude. Why are we letting them in here? Why are we allowing them to be in here? Hell, why are we allowing them to ever run for Congress or Senate or any other fucking position for that matter, dude? Fuck that. No. Give them a boot in the ass. Tell them to fucking kick rocks. If they want to go to a safe country, okay, cool. We'll send you to Saudi Arabia, the closest safe nation, dude. It's as simple as that. Send them back to the closest nation that could be their nation of origin. That would be considered a safe country. And it wouldn't be an issue after that, dude. And if that country refuses to take them, we won't take them either. And it needs to be us putting our fucking foot down finally and being like, no, fuck that shit, dude. It's fucking ridiculous. Absolute fucking ridiculousness, dude. To have any of these motherfuckers in our country right now, dude, when they are literally the fucking sharks swimming around the fish bowl, and then you wonder why you have no more fish the next day, man. It's not that hard to figure out, bro. Really not that hard to figure out. Yeah, I'm just sick and tired of it, man. I really am. And I think a lot of other people are getting sick and tired of it too, dude. And I think we're finally realizing that no, enough is enough of this shit. It's time for us to take back this country, man. Whether that means running ourselves for election cycles or whatever the case be. But yeah, like I've said many times in this episode and many times on this channel, dude, this is why we must have automatic disqualification from office going forward, because Omar, Tlaib, the rest of the idiot fucking cunt squad, dude, none of those dipshits should be allowed to hold power in this country, dude, legally. They should have all been disqualified on the spot, dude. Because whether it be Omar and Tlaib, whether it be AOC, whether it be fucking Cori Bush being a fucking BLM terrorist-tied bitch and fucking having all kinds of fucking money laundering shit going on in her past and stuff there, dude, or so forth and so on, you know, boot them all, dude. Boot them all and send them a big fucking bill for the amount of money that they owe the American taxpayers for the money they've stolen in their fucking paychecks is what it is, man. And I would say, honestly, whatever that amount is, double or even triple that and send that fucking bill to them then, dude. And be like, no, for the amount of time you've been in here, the amount of things you've done to fuck over Americans, this is the real cost. Actually, I would say, truthfully, if we're going to do it correctly, whatever the, however many retarded votes they did and stuff like that, where there were yes votes on various omnibus bills and stuff like that, dude, break down what it would be like per yes vote and stuff, dude, and send that bill to them. And if they can't pay that, guess what? Then they go off to jail for the rest of their lives, is what it is, dude. And that would be the best thing to happen in this country right now, honestly, dude. So, anyway, like I said, that's pretty much where we're at for the day, though. It's a bunch of shit, dude. It's a bunch of shit. Never needed to happen. Never needed to happen in this country. And again, thanks, Obama, you fucking asscock piece of shit. I'll tell you what, every day I look back, I regret ever voting for that son of a bitch, dude, as a default Democrat voter in this country. But you know what? I've since made up for that shit. Block that shit out of my fucking thing. Yeah. Had some fucking bot come in here now. We're at the tail end of this one's about to finish up. Anyway. Yeah, they're banned from this channel now, just so we're clear on that one. But anywho, needless to say, that's another thing, actually going on that one, dude. You'd think with the amount of fucking like AI that these fucking companies can write into their algorithms and shit, how are they not dealing with these bots, dude? Like, you clearly have accounts that are just bot accounts, dude. Like, how hard is it to just give people the ability to just like outright like ban this shit entirely, dude? And I'm not saying like block them and all, dude. I'm saying like legit ban them, dude. Be like, hey, give me a fucking feature for my channel that allows me to put in a username or whatever it is, dude, that I can just outright ban. God damn it, they're coming back again. Actually, that was a different one now. Damn, dude. But yeah, give me the ability to just ban these motherfuckers outright, dude. Give me the ability to ban that 69 shit from fucking everything, dude. So, it's ridiculous, dude. There must be no streams going on right now. That's why they must be hitting my shit if that be the case, dude. Because it's like, yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous, dude. And what's even more fucked up is, right, you would think if they were going to be on the channel, like it was going to be an actual, like whatever on the channel here, dude, you would actually see the thing go from like 0 to 1 or 0 to 1 and then to 2 or whatever the case be. And it's still at 0 this whole time, man. Yet these fucking bots are able to come up in here and somehow like bot the fucking channel is what it is during this stream, dude. I don't get it. I don't understand it, man. Like it's got to be some kind of fucked up code in the system or something like that, dude. And again, this is on you, YouTube and Google. Deal with these motherfuckers, dude. Like I said, the best thing you can do right now, add a feature. Allow me to ban them myself if that be the case, dude. Like, yeah, I can block them from my channel, but guess what? They'll just create another fucking account and it'll come right back. Allow every YouTube channel to have the ability to just straight up ban these motherfuckers, dude. Give us a ban ability where we can ban their asses by name, dude. And that way they can't create another fucking thing that's the exact same fucking username and stuff like that can just come back in here and do it again, man. It's ridiculousness. It really is. But anyway, like I said, that's pretty much where we're at for the day. I blocked both of these motherfuckers, so anyway. Hopefully that'll be, able to be dealt with, and if that be the case, and that'll be the end of this whole thing, but yeah, like I said, just ridiculousness, man, is what it is. And the worst thing, like, you would think too as well, like, how do you not have, like, I don't know, something where if they're going to do the same thing, like, that's the thing too, right? Like, it'd be one thing if they were saying, like, the same thing over and over again or whatever, but they're not. They're just spamming their fucking username is what it is. And, like, how is that not an automatic, like, trigger to be like, ding, they're just fucking gone as an actual channel on the site, dude? Like, that's my biggest issue right there, man. Is to not have these motherfuckers dealt with accordingly is what it is, dude, like that. And I've seen so many of that crap, so much of that crap all over the place, dude. And it's like, there's no need for it, bro. Whether it be me having to mod my own shit right now, or whether it be having to mod other people's stuff, dude. Now, granted, it's not all the time that it happens, but it's enough throughout like a month or two that it's not necessary, dude. You shouldn't even have to fucking worry about that shit coming up in the chats and stuff. Because again, it should already be dealt with. It should already be able to be banned outright by name, and you should be able to deal with it accordingly, dude. And if nothing else, have like a fucking like broad brush name or something like that. Like this one that just did this twice now. They were using the same set of numbers and name and stuff for the first part of their name and shit, dude. But then it was other different stuff there. So, yeah, it's just ridiculousness, man. It really is. But anyway, like I said, I'm done on that one. You know, hopefully you guys enjoyed this and, you know, actually allowed me to do another like 10-minute rant here about the bullshit going on here on the site, dude. And that's the problem right now. And again, I don't have to worry about that shit on other fucking sites, dude, like Rumble and stuff, because people ain't gonna go on there and fucking spam that shit, dude, is what it is. They're not gonna be able to, is what it is. But yeah, it's become a huge fucking issue here on YouTube because again, the people behind the fucking scenes that should be doing their jobs ain't doing their fucking jobs properly and aren't giving the user base the ability to just outright ban these people entirely. And like I said, I'm not just talking about block ban. I'm talking about ban them from ever coming back with another fucking similar name to our channels, dude. Where we can put in a fucking like beginning of a username or something like that, dude, or just whatever it is there, you know, that 69 shit or whatever they begin their thing with here on these two. And ban that shit outright is what it is, dude. Be like 69 mega thing or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's banned entirely then. That can never be, you know, shot up on a live stream ever again or whatever on that channel, then if that be the case, dude. Never be spammed onto a live stream on somebody else's channel is what it is, man. And that would make us so much better right now. But we all know they're not going to do that because it would mean that they would actually do their jobs for once in these mega corporations, dude. And it would mean they'd actually have to employ people again instead of just doing fucking AI algorithm shit is what it is, man. Which I think in a lot of cases, what it ends up being is some of this stuff is actually tied to the algorithms because, again, how the fuck are you going to come up onto somebody's channel and be able to fucking spam shit without it actually showing a user doing it, dude? It has to be something in some place in the shit. You know? Now, granted, that being said, I do remember seeing somebody pop in here for like a second and then pop back out or whatever. So it might be those same assholes, honestly, for all the fuck I know, dude. And they're like, oh, this guy's still doing a live stream. Okay, cool. Come back here in like 5 minutes, see if it's still doing it. Okay, bing, bing, bing. Fuck with the stream is what it is, dude. So I don't know, man. I have no idea. But like I said, it's a bunch of shit either way, man. And there's definitely some fucking shady shit going on there, is what it is, dude. That needs to be dealt with accordingly. So anyway, like I said, that's where I'm at for the day, though. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you all in the next one.